Clay Patton on the Rural Radio Network, now with a check of your Midwest Sheep and Goat Market Report for the week ending March the 1st. Your Midwest Sheep and Goat Market Report is brought to you by Moline Seed and Fence. They're proud to sponsor the Midwest Sheep and Goat Market Report. Moline Seed and Fence is your local dealer for Riviera custom gates, goat and sheep pens, along with Mountain View sheep and goat equipment. Check out all the products at their website. That's MolineSeedandFence.com, MolineSeedandFence.com. For the week ending April 1st, the Midwest Sheep and Goat Market Report, $15 to $20 a hundredweight lower for most classes of stock. There was one regular weekly sale. We follow Sioux Falls Regional Stockyards there in South Dakota that noted a $10 to $15 per hundredweight increase on midweight slaughter lambs once again, but really that has kind of pulled them back in line with where prices were on the more general point last week. You look at the broader whole, we really didn't fall all that far, but we definitely didn't top out at some of those upper end prices like we did last week either. Sioux Falls also noted the replacement quality blackface wool ewes continue to be a hot commodity, but limited supply through the ring. We did get a little bit of a test on that replacement market this week. The Mid-States Hair Sheep Cooperative hosted their biannual seed stock sale. The co-op noted the demand was strong with buyers from 10 states participating in the sale. They also noted that higher quality stock brought higher prices. The market felt a little bit of a pullback overall this week, but has not yet signaled a true turn lower. It's going to take several weeks of lower after lower after lower prices, I think, to truly start to say the trend is now negative versus the positive and really this bullish uptrend we've seen. We could hold steady to sideways here for a few weeks as well. So I don't think we really want to jump off the cliff saying, oh, the highs are in, it's done. But it's seasonal that we would see a pullback like this come in. We've been talking about that we've got to be getting closer to topping this market out. So, again, this week just kind of brings us back to reality, the fact that, yes, we can start to top some of these markets out at some point. With that in mind, though, I also want to note that volume really has picked up. The higher market has attracted more stock into the trade this week as well. Producers Livestock in Texas, key sale we focus in on, 8,000 head through the ring this week. And so far this year and in 2023, so we only have a couple months here, but so far in 2023, anytime Producers has had over 5,000 to 5,500 head through the ring, that's when they see a pretty good pullback in prices. That's just the general demands there. Supply overwhelms that demand, so then thus prices start to come lower. With that as well, you look at other sales. Colby Livestock, Colby, Kansas, they sold 1,500 head. That was a nice increase from their weekly averages, but a solid sale through there. Columbus Sales Pavilion did not publish their sale report, so I don't know how the sale actually went, but they did note with their advertisements leading up to the sale that they were expecting 900 to 1,000 head through the ring, which is a nice increase from their typical runs as well. So you kind of look at that, and it shows that we saw increased volume not in just one area, but really kind of across all ones. But you would expect that high markets typically bring more stock into the market, bring more volume of trade through. Guys that, were already planning on selling or they were sitting on some stock, this is when they're going, okay, it's time to move them, and that's where we see it coming to the market. And again, we get that general pullback in. So not saying the market is the highs are in just yet, but I think we may start to see ourselves now pull into this seasonal tendency of where we maybe have set the highs in and we want to move into more of a sideways market for a little while before we pull lower into that spring and summer seasonal, as we've continued to talk about for a while here. I think we also need to keep in the back of our minds, though, those Southern Plains sales with seeing increased volume. They're still in a lot of drought. Hay prices are expensive, so unfortunately maybe we're seeing a little more herd liquidation there as well. Ethnic holidays, if you're looking at marketing there, we're in the prime of it. We've got Passover April 15th through the 23rd, Ramadan now starting April 2nd through May 1st, Roman Easter April 17th, Greek Easter April 24th. Retail sale noting that Easter market's here on the lamb side. Lamb cuts were sharply higher for the week. Roast ads were reported sharply higher. Chop ads were almost 40% lower, though, so it's the more traditional roasts and things that we're seeing come through. Lamb features in the circulars offered more ad space for rack, bone and leg, boneless leg and leg, shank and butt. The pickup in retail, again, seems to be noted with that Easter demand. Let's go through the quotes this week. Highlighted quotes in the Mid-States Hair Sheep Cooperative. They sold 331 hair ewes for an average of $276 a head. This everything from maybe yearling ewes to some quality running age ewes, but all replacement quality breeding stock. Upper end of those ewes, the real high-end ones, about $432 a head. 29 head of yearling hair rams sold for $241 a head average. The top one bringing $500 a head. And Centennial Livestock in Colorado, they sold 56 head of 114-pound wool slaughter lambs for $170 $279 a hundredweight. That's a $204 a head average. Meanwhile, the upper end in Centennial, they brought $260 a hundredweight, $296 a head. Centennial Livestock also sold 69 head of 62-pound slaughter goats for $351 a hundredweight, or $218 a head. Upper end of the draft brought $370 a hundredweight, or $230 a head. Kelowna, Iowa sold 282 head of wool slaughter lambs weighing 55 pounds for $250 a hundredweight, or $137.50 a head. Upper end of the draft bringing $305 a hundredweight, or $166 a head. Kelowna also sold 112 head of 44-pound slaughter goats for $390 a hundredweight, or $172 a head. Upper end of the draft brought $454 a hundredweight, or $200 a head. Sioux Falls Regional Livestock sold 252 head of 84-pound slaughter wool lambs for $234 a hundredweight, or $197 a head. Upper end of the draft brought $265 a hundredweight, or $223 a head. Sioux Falls also sold 59 head of 76-pound slaughter goats for $338 a hundredweight, or $256 a head. Upper end of the draft brought $350 a hundredweight, or $266 per head. Producers Livestock in San Angelo, Texas sold 635 head of hair lambs weighing 74 pounds for $237 a hundredweight, or $175 a head. The upper end of the draft brought $256 a hundredweight, or $189 a head. Producers Livestock also sold 293 head of 54-pound slaughter goats for $408 a hundredweight, or $220 a head. Upper end of the draft brought $430 a hundredweight, or $232 a head. Colby Livestock sold 11 head of 73-pound wool lambs for $215 a hundredweight, or $157 a head. Colby also sold 19 head of 54-pound slaughter goats for $393 a hundredweight, or $212 a head. Other markets to look at this week, we haven't talked about grain markets in a couple weeks. They were volatile, but really it came down to Friday when we got a slew of USDA data out. USDA released their quarterly stocks, and essentially that report showed that supplies continue to tighten in relationship to a year ago, which basically confirms the short crop that we had in 2022. That's continued to drive a strong basis, the cash paid to farmers who sell the physical grain for old crop supplies. We see that in corn, see that in soybeans. New crop basis, though, there's quite a disparity between them, as many analysts and traders are expecting there to be more available supply in the coming year. So we just kind of got to work through it till we have another crop that is ready to go through for that. USDA also released their survey of farmer expectations for planting. Of course, corn, we've seen fertilizer come down, expectations growing for better margins, 92 million acres of corn beating analyst estimates. Soybeans stayed unchanged from last year, 87.5 million acres and 49.9 million acres of wheat, which actually the Southern Plains picked up about 1 million acres of hard red winter wheat, with some of that coming out of cotton and going into winter wheat given the high prices of inputs last year. Unfortunately, a lot of drought, so I don't know if it really offered that much more grazing potential for some producers there in the Southern Plains. Basically, it shows that, yes, maybe we can put some pressure on the corn market in the near term, but overall, there's still plenty of demand in the U.S. We're eating up through our available grain supplies, so likely prices kind of setting up a range for themselves to trade in here in the near term. The hay market in Nebraska, Kansas, Iowa, South Dakota, Colorado, Wyoming all reported steady, with prices still extremely strong. Hay is physically tough to move right now in the northern plains. They were hit with another strong winter storm late here in the week, significant snow across the Dakotas. On the flip side of that, Southern Plains producers, they're starting to search well outside of their trade area. I noted one on social media, a farmer or rancher in southern Kansas, south central Kansas, actually bought hay from Illinois and had it trucked in just so that way they could find available supply. So in states in the Southern Plains, it's too dry, and we're still a ways from being able to have any available grass or forage. In the Northern Plains, they've still got a lot of snow setting on it, so they're having to use up more hay as well. So the general trend in the hay prices, high prices, are here to stay, at least until we get into the full grazing season later this summer. Other data this week, lamb slaughter estimated 38,000 head through Saturday, an increase of 1,000 head from last week, decrease of 4,000 from last year, though. Kind of interesting to see that drop in slaughter just coming up into the Easter season. Year-to-date lamb slaughter, 451,000 head, 6.3% or 27,000 head more than the previous year's lamb slaughter. Live lamb weights this week, 130 pounds. That was a decrease of 2 pounds from last week and a decrease of 3 pounds from last year. Dressed lamb weights, 66 pounds, a decrease of 1 pound from last week and last year. Your regional price breakdown: wool lambs, 40 to 70 pounds, 185 to 305 a hundredweight, 70 pounds and up, 167 to 295 a hundredweight. Hair lambs, 20 to 40 pounds, 200 to 265 a hundredweight, 40 to 70 pound hair lambs, 185 to 305 a hundredweight, 70 pounds and up, 170 to 270 a hundredweight. Wool ewes on the slaughter side, 50 $250 to $205 a hundredweight. Cull wool rams $37.50 to $140 a hundredweight. Hair ewes replacement quality $235 to $450 a head. Slaughter ewes $75 to $220 a head. Hair rams $30 to $185 a hundredweight. On the goats, 20 to 40 pound slaughter goats $250 to $454 a hundredweight. 40 to 70 pounders $250 to $430 a hundredweight. 70 pounds and up $240 to $350 a hundredweight. On the slaughter wethers, 70 pounds and up $188 to $318 a hundredweight. Slaughter does medium to fleshy $140 to $280 a head. Replacement quality does, a little bit of a thinner test this week in most sales that I looked at, $140 to $300 a head though. And on the slaughter bucks, $200 to $273 a hundredweight. That is the latest here in your Midwest Sheep and Goat Market Report. Appreciate as always your weekly support, and we'll talk to you next week.